The story of nuclear weapons begins with the Manhattan Project, a pivotal moment in history that forever changed the course of human civilization. This top-secret American program, launched in 1939, brought together the brightest minds in physics and engineering. Figures like J. Robert Oppenheimer, Enrico Fermi, and many others worked in secrecy, driven by a sense of urgency and purpose. Their mission was clear yet daunting: to unlock the power of the atom and create a weapon of unimaginable destructive force. The stakes were incredibly high and the pressure was immense. Driven by the fear that Nazi Germany might develop the bomb first, the scientists worked tirelessly throughout World War II. Their dedication and relentless effort were fueled by the looming threat of a nuclear-armed enemy. The project culminated in the successful Trinity test in July 1945, a date forever etched in human history. This test marked the first detonation of a nuclear weapon, a moment that signaled the dawn of a new era. The blinding flash and mushroom cloud that rose over the New Mexico desert heralded the arrival of the atomic age. It was a sight both awe-inspiring and terrifying, showcasing the raw power humanity had unleashed. Just weeks later, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, bringing a swift and devastating end to the war. The bombings caused unprecedented destruction and loss of life, leaving a lasting impact on the world. The world watched in awe and horror as the true power of the atom was unleashed. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had profound implications, not just for the immediate victims, but for the entire global community. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had profound implications. They not only caused immense human suffering, but also changed the geopolitical landscape forever. They not only ushered in a new era of warfare, but also ignited a global nuclear arms race. Nations around the world scrambled to develop their own nuclear arsenals, leading to a tense and dangerous period in history. The United States emerged from World War II as a superpower, possessing a weapon that gave it unparalleled military dominance. This newfound power, however, came with significant responsibilities and ethical dilemmas. However, this monopoly would be short-lived. The Soviet Union soon developed its own nuclear capabilities, setting the stage for a prolonged and perilous Cold War. The Soviet Union, deeply suspicious of the United States and its newfound nuclear arsenal, was determined to develop its own atomic bomb. The stakes were incredibly high, and the Soviets knew that lagging behind in nuclear capabilities could mean a significant strategic disadvantage on the global stage. Under the leadership of Joseph Stalin, the Soviets poured resources into their nuclear program. Stalin was resolute, understanding that nuclear weapons were not just tools of war, but symbols of power and influence. The Soviet leadership was committed to matching, if not surpassing, American nuclear capabilities. They recruited their best scientists and engineers, tasking them with replicating the American achievement. These brilliant minds worked tirelessly, often under harsh conditions, driven by a mix of patriotism and fear of Stalin's retribution. The pressure was immense, but so was the determination to succeed. Espionage played a significant role in the Soviet Union's nuclear development. The KGB orchestrated a vast network of spies who infiltrated key American projects, gathering crucial information that would accelerate Soviet progress. Soviet spies infiltrated the Manhattan Project, stealing valuable secrets and blueprints. This intelligence was vital, providing the Soviets with insights into the design and construction of nuclear weapons, effectively shortening the time needed to develop their own bomb. This stolen information, combined with the relentless work of Soviet scientists, allowed the USSR to detonate its first atomic bomb in 1949. The successful test sent shockwaves around the world, signaling the start of a new and dangerous era. the world watched nervously as the Cold War rivalry intensified, now with both superpowers armed with nuclear weapons. The balance of power had shifted and the stakes of global conflict had never been higher. The race to build bigger and more powerful bombs had begun. Both nations invested heavily in research and development, pushing the boundaries of science and engineering in their quest for nuclear supremacy. The United States responded to the Soviet test with the development of the hydrogen bomb, a weapon thousands of times more powerful than the atomic bombs dropped on Japan. This new class of weaponry represented a quantum leap in destructive capability. The Soviets followed suit, detonating their first hydrogen bomb in 1953. The arms race had reached a terrifying new level, with both superpowers now possessing the means to cause unprecedented destruction. The world entered a perilous new phase, living under the shadow of potential nuclear annihilation. The threat of mutually assured destruction loomed large, shaping international relations and the course of history for decades to come. The nuclear club soon expanded beyond the two superpowers. The United Kingdom, a close ally of the United States, sought its own nuclear deterrent in the aftermath of World War II. Britain's wartime contributions to the Manhattan Project provided a foundation for its own program. In 1952, the UK successfully tested its first atomic bomb, becoming the third nation to join the nuclear club. France, eager to assert its independence and maintain its status as a major power, followed a similar path. Determined to control its own destiny and wary of relying solely on American protection, France embarked on a costly and challenging nuclear program. In 1960, France detonated its first atomic bomb, solidifying its position as a nuclear power. Both the UK and France argued that their nuclear arsenals were essential for deterring aggression and ensuring their security in a volatile world. Their decisions, however, further fueled the global nuclear arms race and raised concerns about the spread of these devastating weapons. The Dragon awakens, China's drive for nuclear status. China, under the leadership of Mao Zedong, emerged as a major player on the world stage in the 1950s. Determined to secure its borders and assert its influence, China saw the acquisition of nuclear weapons as a necessary step. Facing hostility from the United States and a growing rivalry with the Soviet Union, China embarked on its own nuclear program. Despite significant technological and economic challenges, China made remarkable progress. Chinese scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, drawing on limited resources and relying on their own ingenuity. In 1964, China shocked the world by detonating its first atomic bomb. The test marked China's arrival as a nuclear power and significantly altered the global balance of power. China's nuclear test heightened anxieties about nuclear proliferation. The Cold War rivalry now had a new dimension, with three nuclear-armed nations vying for influence in Asia and beyond. Subcontinental standoff, India and Pakistan's nuclear rivalry. The development of nuclear weapons in South Asia was driven by intense regional tensions, rooted in historical conflicts and geopolitical rivalries. The subcontinent has long been a hotspot for military and political strife, with both nations vying for regional dominance. India, harboring resentment over its defeat in the 1965 war with Pakistan and wary of China's growing nuclear arsenal, began developing its own nuclear capability. The fear of being outmatched by its neighbors pushed India to pursue a robust nuclear program. India's nuclear program was shrouded in secrecy, with its government maintaining a policy of peaceful nuclear explosions. This policy was a strategic move to mask its true intentions while advancing its technological capabilities. In 1974, India conducted its first nuclear test, claiming it was for peaceful purposes. This test, known as Smiling Buddha, marked a significant milestone in India's nuclear journey. The international community, however, widely viewed the test as a demonstration of India's nuclear weapons capability. This event triggered a series of diplomatic reactions and heightened global scrutiny. Pakistan, already locked in a bitter rivalry with India, viewed India's nuclear test with alarm and vowed to develop its own nuclear weapons. The test intensified the arms race in the region, pushing Pakistan to accelerate its nuclear ambitions. Pakistan's nuclear program progressed rapidly, aided by clandestine networks that supplied it with sensitive technology. These covert operations were crucial in helping Pakistan bridge the technological gap with India. In 1998, Pakistan responded to India's nuclear tests by conducting its own series of underground nuclear detonations. These tests were a clear signal of Pakistan's entry into the nuclear club. The world watched with deep concern as the rivalry between India and Pakistan escalated to a dangerous new level. The nuclear standoff between these two nations continues to be a critical issue for global security and regional stability. The Hermit Kingdom arms itself for North Korea's nuclear ambitions. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons has been a source of international concern for decades. Motivated by a desire for self-preservation, regime survival, and recognition as a legitimate nuclear power, North Korea has pursued its nuclear program with unwavering determination. Despite facing international sanctions and condemnation, North Korea has conducted numerous nuclear and missile tests, defying the United Nations Security Council resolutions. Its actions have heightened tensions on the Korean peninsula and beyond, raising fears of a regional conflict with global implications. North Korea's nuclear program remains a significant challenge to international security. The secretive nature of the regime makes it difficult to assess its true capabilities or predict its future actions. The international community continues to grapple with how to address the North Korean nuclear threat and bring it back to the negotiating table.